It was a decent crowd for a night, but very normal, no fights.
Now on MU Report, guns, drugs, and violence, something far too common in Huntington, and now police are starting to crack down.
A building that showcases creativity is opening its doors for the very first time.
It'll benefit all of our student athletes on all of our programs.
Hard-hitting Herd Athletics have a new home when preparing for big games.
MU Report starts now.
From the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications, your home for complete Marshall University news. You're watching MU Report.
Hello and welcome to MU Report on the campus of Marshall University in Huntington. I'm Morgan Wright.
And I'm Imani Spradley. Developing right now, the U.S. and its allies sending airstrikes into Syria as they battle the Islamic terror group known as ISIS. MU Report's Rob Engel spoke with the students on campus to see what they think about this international crisis.
Our objective is clear. We will degrade and ultimately destroy ISIL.
From the White House to the classroom, questions are being asked about what should be done next. The U.S. has already conducted a series of airstrikes in and around Baghdad and may be moving into Syria. President Obama does not want to put boots on the ground, and arming Syrian rebels may be the closest thing to fighting this battle.
Marshall student and ROTC member Cody Mason agrees that something needs to be done by the people who have the power to do it.
And anytime one religion tells another, or even any people, that, you're going to believe this or you're going to die, I think that there should be some sort of action taken.
However, there are many social and political considerations to this decision. Professor of Political Science Dr. Marybeth Beller explains the delicacy of the situation.
I think the president was necessarily vague because he really does not want to involve U.S. troops in the action, and yet there's a vacancy that he feels requires U.S. leadership.
Dr. Beller says while she thinks the events are serious, they may not warrant starting a war in Syria.
I think any death is regrettable, certainly. It doesn't take away from how disgusting those events were. It may not be worthy of going to war.
Students like sophomore Mackenzie Lloyd say the complexity of the situation makes it hard to decide what the U.S. should do.
There is a huge history behind it and a lot of complexity, so I think it's kind of hard to decide on a certain position.
Dr. Beller and Mackenzie agree that this conflict may force students to start regularly thinking about what's going on in the Middle East. Rob Engel, MU Report.
President Obama says the plan is to deal with ISIS in the air. Obama says he will not put American boots on the ground in Syria.
A regular hangout spot for Marshall students has become a hot spot for crime. Now the investigation begins as Huntington police search for the suspects. MU Report's Gabi Warwick talked with police on how to combat the issue.
The Huntington Police Department responded to a call early one Saturday morning in response to a shooting at a local bar. HPD Detective Paul Hunter describes the event.
Well, on September the 13th at approximately 2 o'clock, members of the Midnight Shift Patrol received a call of a shots fired at 809 3rd Avenue, which is the Whiskey Rocks Club. When they responded, most of the patrons were out of the location.
Head bartender at Whiskey Rocks, Brandon Justice, was working at the time and says the night seemed perfectly normal.
It was a decent crowd for a night, but very normal, no fights, no mean mugging between people, no controversy or anything like that.
The police have arrested 3 of the men accused of the shooting, while still looking into 2 in relation to the crime. All 5 men are from Detroit, and a police official has said the shooting was related to drugs.
Whiskey Rocks is located at 809 3rd Avenue and is only 1.2 miles away from Marshall's campus, or 0.1 miles away from the Visual Arts Center.
Because of the bar's proximity to campus, some students, such as junior Zach Falther, say they will take more precautions before they go out again.
I would make sure that I go out with friends and that I know who I'm with and make sure that I stay with those people.
Police officials encourage everyone going to a bar to stay safe and remember that there are always dangers involved in being around people consuming alcohol. Gabi Warwick, MU Report.
Police are continuing to look into the matter. Anyone with information is urged to contact Huntington Police.
September is Suicide Prevention Month, and the students are speaking out about this growing issue. They say permanent solutions to temporary problems are not the answer.
He called me and was trying to tell me bye, And so I asked, bye for what? Like, where are you going? And he told me that he had gotten my dad's gun and that life was just a little too much for him.
Although Harrison's brother was stopped from going through with his attempt, suicide is the second leading cause of death in young people ages 15 to 24.
Nearly 3,000 people attempt to commit suicide daily, and over 1 million commit suicide per year.
Ashley O'Brien, a sophomore communications disorder major, says that her best friend's mom wasn't so fortunate.
My friend's mom, she was dealing with different kinds of situations and couldn't figure out the best way to cope with it, and so she decided to go with the worst possible situation, and she ended up committing suicide. And she got in her car and closed the garage, and ended her life.
The Marshall University campus offers help for suicide prevention in the Student Development Center located in Pritchard Hall. Tanika Phillips, a mental health specialist on campus, encourages the students to become more aware.
We will often hear people say, well, I didn't think it was bad enough to come to counseling. And there's not truly a bad enough. If you're having the thought of maybe I should talk to someone, then we're here for that. We can help students process that. And I encourage people to come in before it becomes too problematic. It's much easier to manage before it's too overwhelming.
The only advice would be, if you do have thoughts of committing suicide, to seek help, because there's a bunch of help here on campus, and I'm sure every other university has their own help as well.
Marshall offers free counseling for any students who need it. The Counseling Center is located in Pritchard Hall.
The West Virginia Supreme Court of Appeals made a visit to Marshall to celebrate Constitution Week. Emory Reports' Jessi Starkey has more on why the High Court visited Huntington's campus.
All rise for the Honorable Justices of the West Virginia Supreme Court of Appeals. Marshall University celebrated Constitution Week by inviting the High Court to campus to hear 4 court appeals in the Joan C. Edwards Playhouse. Justice Menace E. Ketchum made a personal visit to the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and says they enjoy coming here to show students how a branch of government works under the state constitution and the United States Constitution.
Students, to be well-rounded, need to know how government works, and they need to know how the judicial branch works to have a well-rounded education.
Clerk of the Supreme Court of Appeals and Marshall alumnus Rory Perry says while the Supreme Court is the highest court in West Virginia, it is a court that most people are unfamiliar with.
Most of the students, whether they be college students or high school students, may never see the Supreme Court in action, but it's a vital part of their government. And so the court makes it a part of its mission each year to visit either Marshall or WVU and a county in West Virginia to bring the court to the people so they can see it for themselves.
Senior political science major Kyle Tibbs says he benefits from Constitution Week and seeing how the High Court operates.
It's important to me because I plan on going to law school next fall, so to see how the judiciary system works, particularly in this state, if I would like to practice law, is extremely important.
Marshall University students and faculty not only got to experience the West Virginia Supreme Court of Appeals, but a more up-close and personal look right on their own campus. Jessi Starkey, MU Report.
This was the West Virginia Supreme Court's 6th visit to Marshall for Constitution Week the past decade.
A new building downtown will showcase some spectacular pieces of art. This new Marshall School of Visual Arts Center celebrating its grand opening. MU Reports' Colton Jeffries has a preview of the world premiere Collegiate Art and Design Center.
When students walk to Pullman Square, they may see these 2 familiar words etched on the building. This building is a new location of Marshall's Visual Arts Center. Located on 3rd Avenue, the center is in place so art students can hone their skills in painting or sculpting. New School of Art and Design Director Sandra Reed heads the center, and while she has only been with the school for a couple months, she knows just how important this building is.
I know that it was something carefully considered and long sought to have more space for the School of Art and Design in our programs, and that the space takes this form is really rather miraculous for us, but also for Huntington.
Both students and faculty of the School of Art and Design are overjoyed to have a new place to call home. Some teachers, like Associate Professor Dr. Mary Barnes, welcome the new changes in technology available to students.
We have
an interactive smart board where they'll be able to do demonstrations as they would in a K-12 setting. The other thing that's fabulous is that our offices are set up as partially a traditional office, but then there's a studio at the other end. So really our students get to see us not only as a faculty member, but also a practicing artist.
Director Reed says that while the top 5 floors of the center are for academic use only, the first floor is very much open to the public, where they can view an art gallery with paintings like the one behind me, free of charge. Colton Jeffries, MU Report.
For more information on galleries and shows coming to the Visual Arts Building, go to marshall.edu/art.
With the new art building opening its doors for students, cash registers are opening up a lot more at area businesses. MU Report's Haley Wade found out the lunchtime traffic is really picking up.
The opening of Marshall University's Visual Arts Center has brought with it an opportunity some business owners are getting excited about. The off-campus building's location besides Pullman Plaza means students will be commuting downtown for classes. For nearby stores, the growing number of students visiting so often on weekdays means business will be booming between classes. Seth Levy, a house manager for Taste of Asia, says the restaurant has noticed a significant jump in students coming for the lunch rush.
Sure, definitely during the daytime especially. I've noticed a lot more kids out and about downtown. I've seen the Marshall tags on the cars, and we've even noticed a little bit of a lunch pickup in the business too.
Lunch specials offered in the plaza give students a chance to grab cheap meals most weekdays, which can prove useful to those living on college budgets. Photo major Andrew Gornick is just one of the students who's already been taking advantage of the deals Pullman has to offer.
Yeah, normally when I wake up, I'll snag a cup of coffee at Starbucks and then come and go to a class. And if I have a little extra money in my wallet, I'll come by and maybe get lunch as well.
Businesses like Taste of Asia are hoping the trend will stay strong through the colder months and will continue to work on accommodating the larger crowds throughout the year.
Visual Arts Center Director Sandra Reed says its location is mutually beneficial as several local businesses are already asking for artwork to display in their stores. Haley Wade, MU Report.
The new Visual Arts Center on 3rd Avenue costs $13.7 million to renovate.
Herd Athletics have a new home when it comes to preparing for big games. The new Chris Klein Athletic Facility will be the new home for all student athletes. MU Report's Sarah Connors has more on the new state-of-the-art facility.
It's so new, the paint's still wet. Marshall University opens its doors to the new Chris Klein Indoor Practice Facility. Chris Klein is not only a Marshall alumni, but also a Beckley, West Virginia native, and recognizes that Marshall University is not only where he went to school, but also his family.
Well, I mean, it's your home state, it's your family, it's what you grow up with. You learn that these are your family no matter where you move to in life afterwards.
Marshall University Athletics Director of Events Tom Ponatowicz believes the new facility will benefit all of the Marshall athletes.
It'll benefit all of our student athletes on all of our programs, especially our outside sports, because it'll give them the ability to practice all year round, no matter what the weather is like outside.
Marshall assistant baseball coach Brian Cartlett agrees.
Having that facility where we don't have to rely on it being 35, 40 degrees here, we don't have to worry about the snow or the weather, and being able to get in there and really get our guys prepared for the season, it's really going to help us out quite a bit.
Shyra Molton of Marshall University's track team is excited for her team to finally be able to train on the track of their own.
I'm just really excited to have it as a whole. We've been running up on level E, and for those of you who don't know what that is, that's just straight concrete, and we've accomplished a lot as a team. We've had girls go to nationals just practicing out on that, so I know that with the indoor facility, there are really no limits to what we can do as a team.
With the opening of the Chris Klein Indoor Practice Facility, Marshall University Athletics will be able to prepare for their current season no matter what the weather condition. Sarah Connors, MU Report.
That does it for this week's edition of MU Report. Our next newscast is in 2 weeks on this West Virginia Public Broadcasting Station. I'm Imani Spradley.
And I'm Morgan Wright. For our entire MU Report team, thank you for watching. Have a great week.